Hello and welcome to Misti Arts and Crafts. I'm Libby and today I'll be sharing this cute Dachshund shaker card. For today's card, I'm going to start with the background here. So I'm going to bring in this stencil from Misti Stamp. I believe this one is called Build a Rainbow, and I'm going to be using that edge there with that cloud to create a fun background. So I'll be using Distress Oxide inks in Tumbled Glass and Salvage Patina for this. I just kind of mixed them in for each cloud and did a little bit of this and a little bit of that here and there to create some texture and just create a simple background. So I'm just starting heavy near the stencil and blending out to white. So you just get this kind of fun, like layered, really fluffy clouds in the sky here. There was several times where I went a little too high between the two clouds, so I just brought in my stencil and I just moved it down to add another one here. You can see that. And it looked just fine. You couldn't even tell that I accidentally messed up on that. I am going to just come in really quick at the bottom with some color because it was pretty white and looked off, so I just added a little bit down there. I might have added a little bit too much, but I think it turned out okay, and I cut it off in the end, so it's not a big deal. So I'm just going to keep doing that up the panel here. I think I will be doing about two more here, and then yep, there's too big of a gap there, so I just moved it down one. And I just used some washi tape to mask off the areas that I didn't want color to go through. Also, it helped keep the stencil stuck to the paper. And I just used some Misti Stamp dot runner to keep the paper still. I'm then going to bring in some white paint. I actually started with just regular water, just to add some water droplets. I then brought in the white paint and splattered that as well. I wanted to create a lot of texture in the background without it being too prominent. So yeah, I just added some of that white paint there. And then I actually decided to also bring in those Distress Oxide inks and add those as splatters as well. So I just added those to my palette there, and I'm just going to add some water to those, and then I can splatter those. This definitely gave more texture, and I really liked the splatter look on this. So yeah. I'm just going to finish up splattering there. I just used my finger to tap on the color, and I thought this created nice splatters. So next I'm going to stamp out my images. This one is from Hero Arts. It's the Festive Balloon, and I just used the smaller balloon for that. Then this one is Clearly Besotted Dachshund Through stamp set. It's actually a Christmas stamp set, but I decided that there was one image that the Dachshund did not have any like Christmas apparel on, so I decided to stamp that one and use that. So I'm just going to be stamping it with Intense Black ink from Misti Stamp there. I did stamp this twice so that I'd have a nice good impression. And yeah. And then I'm going to bring in some vellum, and this Misti Stamp Rainbow is my favorite color. I actually used the clouds from there. I lost a cloud, so I just had to stamp the smaller one that I had twice, but I did end up finding it, so that's good. So I'm just going to place them where I want on this vellum, and I'm going to use some anti-static powder tool for this. That's very important, especially because vellum has a lot of static on it in general. So I'm just going to add that over the whole piece of vellum. And then I'm going to bring in some Versamark ink to stamp that down on to the vellum. And I will just wipe them off really quick, and I'll move that smaller one to another spot so I can stamp it again. And then, yeah, I'm going to be using that Versamark again. And then I'm going to bring in some white embossing powder, and I'm going to sprinkle that over the top. You can see some parts where the anti-static powder tool didn't work all the way. So I did just take a paintbrush and I just scraped some of that off so that it would be just the just the area where I wanted. And then I brought in my heat gun and I'm going to heat set that really quickly here. I will then move on to coloring my images, and for this, I actually colored the dachshund incorrectly first. You can see it there. You couldn't really see the eye, so I decided I'd redo it. But I just used 2 different colors of red here to color this balloon. This one was actually really simple. It did not take very long at all. And then I'm going to add a highlight with my gel pen. I will also add more texture to that later, but I'm going to color the dachshund really quick here. So I'm just going to be adding browns to some different spots. I actually looked at a reference image off of Google just to see where a dachshund would typically have this brown color. I wanted to go for a little bit different. So I added it on the paws, under the chin, and like right above its eye there's a little spot. I wanted kind of a dappled dachshund, so yeah, I went with that. And then I brought the a lighter gray right around all of those brown areas and any areas where I wanted some more highlight, and then I brought in the black to just blend that out. And then yeah, I just did a few more touch-ups here. I decided I did not want any gel pen details on this. So yeah, and I thought the eye was a little bit more seeable this way. So I did fussy cut all of these images out after I was done, but here I wanted to take my Versamarker, which is basically Versamark ink in a marker form, and I'm going to be using the brush tip, and I'll just color the whole balloon image with this. You can see here, I did even do the little tail part. And then I'm going to take some clear embossing powder and I'm going to pour it over the top. This creates more of a shiny balloon look, but on the first one it looked kind of grainy and it was very uneven, not smooth like a balloon, so I did have to go over it several times. I'll just heat set it really quickly here. It was burning my hands, so I had to place it on the table. So once I had that nice and heat set, I brought in my Versamark pen again and I colored over the top of the whole thing. I will then add another layer of that clear embossing powder and heat that up. This would probably be okay to just leave it like that, but I wanted one more layer just to create more of a dome. And I brought in some tweezers to help my hands, to help hold it so that my hands wouldn't have to. So there, I'm just going to do that, and you can see that it gives a nice layer. I'm then going to bring in the Time to Party stamp set, and I'm going to play with the arrangement. Also, while I'm doing this, I wanted to share that you should check out my Instagram and Pinterest accounts at Misti Arts and Crafts. I share a ton of inspiration from myself, and also I find things from other creators that I really enjoyed for that as well. So there's plenty of inspiration, and you can also find updates over there, so go check those out as well. So I played with a few different sentiments and styles, and then I kind of ended up liking this, so I decided to stamp my sentiment. I just wanted to make sure my placement was good, so I brought that back in here, and yeah, I'm going to stamp that sentiment. It says, I think it says it's your birthday, possibly. So I found a good spot for that, and I'm just going to stamp it there with some intense black ink from Simon Says Stamp again. Took me a minute to line it up, but when I did, I just stamped it there. I'm going to remove all those images and set them to the side. And I will stamp that. I decided that I wanted it to stand out a little bit more because it was a small image, so I anti-static powdered the area, and I will add some clear embossing powder over the top just to make sure, or just to help it stand out a little bit more. So yeah. I'm going to take it out here, and I'm going to bring in that clear embossing powder over the top, and I will heat set that really quick. It did not take long because it's not a very big stamp. And then I didn't think I was going to, but then I decided to make a full panel shaker card, and I kind of wish I didn't in the end, but it's okay, and I think it still turned out good, but I have added my adhesive on the back already, and I'm just going to wipe down this packaging so that it's nice and clean and clear. I'm then going to anti-static powder it. I find this is really important because so that the shaker insides can move around freely. So I did add a little bit of that to the back of the shaker window, which is just stamp packaging, and then I also added it to the panel. I will then just add the sides to the open adhesive. I left one I left the adhesive with the backer on one end so that I could fill the shaker. But yeah, I'm just gonna cut off those extra corners down at the bottom, and I wanted to make the window a little bit more clean, but it didn't really work out. So then I'm just going to fill the shaker with a bunch of fun embellishments and stuff. I can't remember what this one's called, but I also have some white sequins from Michaels, I believe, and these ones are called Frost Sequins. They are from Hero Arts, if you are interested. I will also link it down below, along with plenty of other products that I use today. But yeah, I'm just going to make sure that shakes freely, and yeah, I wanted to make sure that there weren't too many in there because I really didn't want it to be the focal point. And then I brought in these little holographic stars, and I think they added a little bit more to it, and it looked pretty cool. So yeah, once I have that, I'll release the last backer and apply that. I'll cut off the corners there, and the panel is ready to go. I just want to make sure it shakes nicely. And then I'm going to bring in all my images and place them how I want them on my card. So yeah, once I like that, I think I will start adhering the clouds there. These were definitely hard because there isn't a lot of embossed area that you can add adhesive under, but I tried to, and then I also added it under where the balloon would be. I just tried to wipe away any of that excess adhesive. You really want only a tiny bit on there. And then yeah, I'll just add that there. And I'm going to use my block because I had a lot of trouble sticking to that window of the shaker. I'm then going to add some foam adhesive to the Dachshund and also to the balloon. I actually lost footage on this, so I ended up heat embossing a string for this onto the shaker, but you have to be really careful because it is plastic and will melt, but that's how it turned out in the end. So yeah. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and come back next Tuesday for a new video. If you are interested in any of the supplies I used today, check out the description box below. For more inspiration, please consider liking and subscribing. For even more inspiration, check out my Instagram and Pinterest accounts at My Starts and Crafts. Have a great day. See you soon.